hold on. Yeah, everybody mute, and I'll tell you when it's go time. Okay, it's
Cannot mute myself, but
yeah, it's okay. Just be quiet. Okay, ready? Wait.
That's fine. Your room is quiet.
3, 2, 1.
So to gather our information for this project, the first thing we did was contact Dominic Bourgeau. We contacted Dominic Bourgeau because he is my father, making him easily contactable, and with fantastic managerial experience, we thought that he was our best option. So the second thing that we did is we conducted a Zoom call with Dominic. So by doing this, we had everyone in one room with Dominic on the Zoom on the other end. We had two people, me and Olivia, asking questions with Carter, Soa, and Cole, writing down notes and recording information from what he was saying. So obviously the third step was we recorded our responses. And then for the fourth step is we created our if-then statements with all the information that we gathered. So we focused on Module 6, Module 7, and Module 8, which are motivation, interpersonal skills, and workplace culture when writing our if-then statement. So meet our manager. So that is a picture of my dad, who is the person we interviewed. So some key experiences is he started out as, so his first notable position was he was the VP of finance for New Trade Technologies. Next, he became the CFO of Expedia for retail and portfolio. And then next, he became the CFO of Blue Nile. This was kind of during the COVID period. So because of COVID, unfortunately, he had to leave that job. But now he is the CFO of the online travel company Sonder. So his job duties are to work with the CEO to invest in what gives best return for finances, to allocate roles to employees that gives them the best chance to succeed in their role. And he also runs the company's accounting system and manages over 100 employees. So why we thought he was qualified to interview him is because he has 25 years of management experience. He's consistently been promoted throughout his career, and he is the CFO of multiple companies, or he's been the CFO of multiple companies. And our if-then statement is, if I acknowledge and take responsibility for the mistakes I have made, then this will cultivate positive relationships between my direct reports and me.
Okay, so what does acknowledging and taking responsibility for mistakes look like while managing? Let's set the scene for a better understanding with a skit. Are we all ready for the skit? Okay. I totally forgot to turn in my reports last night.
Uh-oh, what are you gonna do?
I think I'm just going to put them on his desk soon and hope he doesn't notice.
Okay, but you know when you turn them in the night before, the clients get notified they were received, right?
Yeah, but I'd rather confuse some customers than admit I forgot to submit them.
Boss walks in. Hey everyone, I hope you're all ready for a good day of work. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that I totally messed up last week's pay stubs. So I fixed them, but if you see weird transfers in your account, that's what happens. So sorry, all my fault.
Hey, boss. I have to tell you something. I forgot to submit my reports last night. I don't want customers to be confused when they didn't receive their order confirmations. I'm sorry.
That's unfortunate, but better that I know now so we can do what we can. Thank you for being honest.
Okay, so when a manager makes a mistake, such as our manager, who has missed meetings or calls due to his overwhelming environment or miscommunicated project guidelines, which can happen on busy days, sure, you could keep it on the down low or lie and cover yourself up, but the most ethical and rewarding route to take is to acknowledge and take responsibility for said mistake, like our manager. Our manager communicates his shortcomings while gathered with his direct reports in a meeting, or even sometimes includes it in the next email, and it goes a long way. By doing this, he creates a psychologically safe environment where employees are more inclined to speak up when making mistakes on their end. Mistakes happen and always will, so by implementing this practice, our manager notices that his employees start to feel safe enough to share their mistakes as well. This connection between employee and manager has countless positive effects on the work environment.
In analyzing our manager, we can obtain that the result of their practice builds trust between himself and the manager he oversees. Trust is vital to relationships as it promotes coordination, learning, and the saving of time. Our manager, by pointing out his own mistakes, puts himself in a state of vulnerability, which opens himself up to criticism, judgment, and the idea of being seen as incompetent. Evident by our manager putting himself in this state, his direct reports witness a display of openness, which helps build up their affect-based trust over time, which is based on feelings rather than rationale. The results of this practice include the building of high-quality connections and a psychologically safe work environment. To build HQCs, a pathway needs to be taken, and in this case, the third pathway of trusting others has been taken, which includes the act of being open. Establishing this line of openness by our manager allows for the possible situation that his direct reports may also open up because of the trust that he has displayed. In addition, the vulnerable state that our manager puts himself in allows for a psychological safe work environment to be established, where our manager has framed the workspace as a learning environment where he displays that he, too, makes mistakes and intends to learn from them, allowing for his direct reports to do the same. By doing this, he creates an environment conducive to open-mindedness about issues, concerns, thoughts, and new ideas without the fear of always being held to a standard of excellence that steers people away from speaking up. All in all, our manager puts himself in a vulnerable position that allows for the building of trust between himself and his direct reports, resulting in the building of high-quality connections along with an environment that is psychologically safe. In these results, our manager may see an increase in the interrelation between him and his direct reports, efficiency, and finally, the enjoyability to be at work and in the work that they do.
After analyzing our if-then statement, we found that it was indeed true that if the manager acknowledged and took responsibility for the mistakes he made, this will cultivate a positive relationship between himself and his direct reports. The manager, through his actions, fostered a strong environment through effect-based trust. The manager's practice of openly acknowledging and learning from his own mistakes shows a strategic approach to building trust with his employees who directly report to him by using vulnerability. The trust that was formed through the manager's vulnerability helped trigger the idea that the space they were working in was safe and further enhanced idea sharing, whether that idea be right or wrong. This level of development, based on the trust created by the manager, is the result of psychological safety. This degree of openness and vulnerability promoted a high-quality connection, which in turn led to positive relational traits consisting of increased coordination, learning, and flexibility. In turn, this high-quality connection, led by the promoted culture of psychological safety, helped team development by creating a dynamic where there was strong individual empowerment and efficiency during collaboration. In conclusion, the manager's vulnerability acted as a catalyst which grew through effect-based trust and then triggered the idea of the workspace being psychologically safe, which in turn enhanced learning, coordination, and flexibility. These positive traits then led to overall increased empowerment and efficiency amongst the group.
So to go a step further in trust and psychological safety, our first recommendation would be to create a feedback mechanism, regularly assess the organizational culture through formal and informal feedback mechanism, encouraging open communication between employees and leaders, establishing an open door policy making leaders approachable for concerns and ideas. Additionally, provide a mechanism for anonymous feedback to make it easier for hesitant employees to share their thoughts. It's difficult to acknowledge your mistake, but you should be able to communicate when you think the manager is doing a mistake. It can be extremely uncomfortable for employees to do so. This is the next step of fostering trust by allowing employees to give feedback. either by open feedback or anonymous feedback. Our second recommendation is to create a link, a team, and a work culture. It's especially difficult since most of their work is online. But they need to strengthen interpersonal relationship with team buddies activities like workshops and retreats to foster collaboration and enhance overall trust in the workplace. Our last recommendation is to create a work culture. Our last recommendation is to create a work culture is to celebrate successes, both big and small, to boost morale and reinforce a positive work environment. It creates recognition and appreciation. Thank you for listening.